Welcome to the ultimate guide on mastering 3D AI shorts. In this video, we're going to create this 3D AI Roman soldier effect. And if you don't know me, I'm a video editor that climbed to the top ranks of YouTube jobs and accumulated over 500 million views from my edits. So if you want to make more money video editing, I suggest you watch till the end. Right, so first of all, what we need to do is create a prompt for our image. And look, in order to enhance your prompts, what you want to do is just paste your prompt inside ChatGPT and tell it to just create a detailed prompt that you can send to an AI image. And that's what I've done in order to get this very detailed prompt, which then made me this image inside Runway. But I've done the same thing again to get these columns over here and to create an image of this Egyptian desert. And those are the assets that we're going to use to create this 3D AI effect. Now what I'm going to do down here is upscale the images to 4K, because as I said, I want to keep everything on one platform, and Runway allows you to upscale images. You can also use Topaz Labs for even better upscaling, but I think this will be fine. So once you have your images, we're going to import them into Photoshop, and I'm going to select the left side over here and click on Generative Fill. Now just going to create different variations for us to choose from so that we can expand the images, and I think this one looks good. Now what I'm going to do is select that pyramid back there and generate a new pyramid. Okay, like so. I'll do the same for these pyramids, and I'll do the same back here. And notice how I'm generating a triangle-like fill, because I want to kind of hint at the fact that I want just one big pyramid. Basically, this is just going to be a little detail in our video, as we're going to go from the unfinished, unconstructed pyramids into these bigger, fully finished pyramids. Okay, with the pyramids being done, I'm going to import the Roman soldier back into Photoshop. So I'm actually going to just kind of mask him out over here. Okay, and now that I masked him out, what I'm going to then do is select him and say remove this person, and then what I'm going to do is use the crop layer and then click on generative expand up the top, and now we're going to expand the columns to the right like so, and a bit up top. Right click and click on generative expand and just click on generate. When it comes to 3D, the most important thing is your setup, giving yourself more space, expanding your assets so that you have more room to work with. And yeah, I kind of like this. And this part is rather boring, so basically what we're doing is selecting the parts we don't want and then deleting it. Simple as that. I'll skip through till I actually have the assets now. Okay, with all of our assets prepared, now we can jump into After Effects. We're just going to create a basic composition over here and import all of our assets like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the labels on each of these so that they're nice and organized. And let's set up the position correctly. Now what I'm going to do is create the first mask around these pyramids. Okay, now we have our foreground made. So I'm also going to do the same for the midground and the background. Okay, so as you can see now, we have 3 separate layers. So then what I've done is I imported the finished constructed pyramids in order to replace it with the old unconstructed pyramids, and now I'm just going to touch up the mask on these finished pyramids so that we can use them as an effect in a video. By the way, the most important skill you need is actually compositing everything together so that all the colors match, and I'll show you that at the end of the video, so make sure you stick around to the end. Okay, now we have our pyramids ready. So now I'm going to parent the newly freshly built pyramids to the old pyramids so that wherever we move the old pyramids, they'll be followed by these new pyramids. And then I'm going to create 3D layers for all these pyramids. And finally, I'm going to create a new camera by right-clicking in the empty space down the bottom. I'm going over to create new 3D camera, and we'll do 50mm 2-node camera. Click OK, and now we have a camera. By the way, if you're wondering how I got 52 clients on YouTube jobs, such as VidIQ, Hafugo, and many, many more, I just explained everything in landing the top 1% clients. And look, to be honest, I don't know how long I can keep this active for, because these are literally all of my secrets. So when enough people join, I'm going to have to take down this course. So if you are interested on how I got the very first page on YouTube jobs and accumulated over 500 million views with my edits and literally landed the top 1% clients, then just join the MM Bootcamp. The link is going to be below the video. So then what I'm going to do is hide all the pyramids for now, and I'm going to flip the column over here so that the lighting matches a bit better, because as you can see, the lighting just doesn't really fit with the columns in front of it. So now it's time to basically position everything, right? So we have our main foreground, not our pyramid foreground, but our main foreground. So we need to position that very close to the camera. I'm going to put the columns in the position where I want them right now, just so I can use that as a reference for everything else, where everything else should be basically. So now I'm basically playing around with the camera just to see how it's actually going to work when I zoom in through the column. And as you can see, I had problems with the columns kind of ending too soon, so I had to scale it up a bit in order to fit it in better. But now it looks like I just need to scale the columns in the back a little bit more, and they should fit just perfect. So now if we zoom in all the way through, you don't see any cut-offs in the midground, which is perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to position the Roman soldier where we want him, and we want him right here. So now we can basically scale him up to the right size. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add a drop shadow to our guy over here. We're basically going to create our own drop shadow. So I duplicated him, add a drop shadow on him, and now we're going to position that to match the shadow of the column like so. So this way this saved us a bunch of time with having to, mask out and create our own shadow of him, because we can do so fairly easily by just positioning the shadow behind his feet and matching the angle to the shadow of the column. It's as easy as that. But then what I'm doing is just repositioning everything so that everything fits together. As you can see, the main thing we're trying to fix here is any crops. Because if you see any crop there black screen, that's obviously a mistake. So now as you can see, this is the reason why I created those different foreground layers earlier on. And that's to actually get more movement and width when you're moving closer to those pyramids. You see the movements that's happening when I'm moving in and out of these pyramids. That's created because there is a foreground and a background for all these different pyramids. If it was just one static image, then they'd all just move at the same time. So this is just that little attention to detail that you probably won't even notice, but all this stuff adds up. And here we're going to basically change the pyramids from being constructed to being finished, which we can cover with something like a dust storm, but I'll show you how to do that later. Okay, it's time to start adding our keyframes. So this is going to be the moment which is going to have the pyramids changing. So first of all, we might try a fade, like opacity fade. Okay, that looks good. One thing that is annoying is this black sky in the back. So I went ahead and found a video of a sunset, which we are going to add to the very, very back. And this is going to kind of set the color composition of our project over here. Now, once again, anytime you see there's a crop, we can scale the sunset. Okay, with that being done, we're going to go here and create a new solid white layer. And we're going to create a circle mask around it. So open up the mask, add some feather. And we're going to add the turbulent displace effect on it. This is going to sort of act like a smoke. So what we're going to do is change the size to 50 and add a higher amount on that. Next, we're going to add an adjustment layer above everything. And we're going to add the same effect onto the adjustment layer. We're just really trying to distort this white solid layer over here. Okay, I think that looks good. Now we're going to go to the turbulent displace, open up evolution, alt click the stopwatch and type time times 75 to add an expression onto it. And we'll do the same on the white solid. So now if you skim through, you can see that there is some movement to this white solid. But we're going to increase the speed by 25, so that's going to be 100 on each. Now what we're going to do is pre-compose the two and call it clouds. So now we're going to position it very, very back like so, kind of where the sky is. And then we'll duplicate it twice and change the position of some of these clouds. So some are going to be closer, some are going to be further. And then we're going to just keyframe them so that they're moving from the start to the finish. Okay, now we're going to just change the colors of these just so that they're organized and move them behind everything else. So that's our clouds. Now what I want to do is add a green screen of some birds. Again, we're just adding more and more details to this. We have the pyramids changing in the back. We have the 3D of the Roman soldier overlooking the pyramids. We added our own clouds. Now we're adding some birds. But again, this isn't the hard part. It's pretty easy to add all these details. What I will show you later is the hard part, which is compositing everything so that it all fits together, so that the colors match, so that it just all works and flows nicely together. That's the hard part, and that's the reason why you should stick around and watch till the end. Okay, so we have a green screen of the birds over here, so we can kind of choose the position of them right now. Okay, I think that looks good. So what we're going to do is add the key light effect onto that so that the green screen gets cut out. And actually, I just noticed that there is a white crop on this cloud over here. You can see it. It's like a straight line on the very right, and it's kind of ruining the composition of the image. So okay, I think it just could be the mask. So if we just mask this a little bit differently, I think that'll fix the issue. Let's see. There we go, much better. Okay, once again, we're going to add some more details. This time we're going to add a green screen of a camel, and you can find all these on YouTube. Then just open up some YouTube downloader website to download them. And what we've done here is the same thing we've done for the birds. We just positioned the camels in the background next to the pyramids, key lighted every single one of them, pre-composed them, and it was as simple as that. Okay, next up we're going to add a white solid, and this time we'll add some fractal noise to the white solid in the foreground. We're going to lower the opacity of that, open up the mask and add another time times 100 expression onto it. And again, we're going to add turbulent displace onto that, play around with the settings until we get something that looks like this. And then what we're going to do is add another evolution, this time times 250. Then we added a fast box blur, and then we'll just change up the mask of this white solid a little bit more. And you'll see why we're doing this in just a second. But okay, now we have our keyframed mask on this white solid ready to go. That looks good. Now let's just add a tint. So now, since the theme of our video is going to be kind of based off of this sunset in the back, and it's sort of a desert theme, what I ended up doing is making this sort of yellow brownish or beige, I guess, and positioning it just behind the second column to kind of give off this sort of dust effect. And the mask that we created makes it seem like the dust is going from left to right, even though all it is just a mask. We didn't even change any positions, any keyframes. So now what I went ahead and did is I duplicated the white solid that we used for the foreground, and I added it in between the pyramids to add some more detail. Now we're going to get this tumbleweed, and I think this tumbleweed is self-explanatory. We're basically going to rotate it, but in order to do so, we need to change the anchor point to be in the middle of the tumbleweed. So over here, you have this pan behind anchor point. This basically a tool that allows you to change the anchor point of your image. Now when we change the orientation, it is rotating. You can also just press R and use R rotation if you want, but since this is a 3D scene, I'm going to use orientation. And of course, this is very simple stuff, just position, keyframe, orientation, keyframe, and yeah, do the same for the end. Very easy. Okay, one more piece of detail is I got this sandstorm sort of effect that we're going to use for the pyramid transition. So you know the deal, key light, position that over the pyramids so that it blocks up the entire pyramids. And this goes to show that you can use pretty much anything for a transition as long as it's kind of covering up your subject in full. So then we're just going to click on Lumetri color to kind of match the color of this a little bit better. We'll sort of change the temperature to be a little bit more red. I think this is a nice composition. And since the video didn't finish how we wanted it to, we're going to basically play around with opacity. So the dust storm will come in and then the opacity is going to get rid of that. So as you can see, it goes from unfinished pyramids to fully constructed, gigantic, ready to go pyramids. Okay, so let's watch this one more time. The dust storm comes in, it covers our pyramids and it reveals fully built ones. Nice. Now what we're going to do is pre-compose that. And let's create a new solid, and this time it's going to be a black solid. So now let's basically mask everything apart from the very top over here and just add a slight feather. And we're just going to position that down the very bottom just so that we don't have that harsh cut off that we seen a minute ago. And by enabling the 3D camera, it'll sort of stay in position whenever we move in and out. So now we have most of the details finished. Now what we need to start doing is compositing everything so that the colors match. Because as you can see right now, it doesn't really fit. Nothing flows together. And this is by far the most important part you need to do if you want everything to just look so much more high quality. So for starters, we are going to create a brand new spotlight. And this spotlight is going to be a sort of beige, dusty color like the rest of our scene. And we're going to try position it somewhere in the back left over here. Then we'll create another spotlight with a bit of a higher intensity and position it sort of just in the back. So now we have a light that's kind of shining dimly on everything and another stronger light that's a bit closer. So you can see by having these two different spotlights, we can manipulate the foreground and the background lighting a lot more. So now we're going to add another spotlight, and this one is going to be the same as the second one, but it's going to be positioned a little bit differently. This one will be sort of in front of the foreground so that we can see the columns a little bit better and so that we can shine on the Roman soldier a little bit more to just give him that little bit more focus. We're going to make the radius pretty narrow so that, again, the focus is narrow. And now it's all about just playing around with the positions, intensities, and the different angles of these spotlights. You don't want any of them to be too harsh or unrealistic, but you also want to make sure that the whole scene is nicely lit up. So by playing around with the different intensities, I think I got a nice looking version, but it still feels a little bit flat. So that's what we're going to start touching up some colors. I added a lumetric color to the pyramids in the back, and I played around with the tint, the temperature, and the brightness of it. And I'm going to do the same on the sky in the background so that we can match all the colors to each other a little bit better. If you're wondering how am I matching these colors to each other, I just don't want anything to be taking up too much attention. Like a minute ago, I think the sky was taking up a lot more attention than it is now, but now it's a lot flatter, which kind of matches the rest of the scene. Now what we're going to do is change the keyframes of the camera. So it's going to start down the bottom, go up like this, and then it's going to go in through the columns and next to the Roman soldier. So we're going to skip in a little bit until we have the end of the composition. Select our camera and manually just drag it forward like so, making sure that nothing is cropped out, and we'll position it in our final spot. Then once again, easy keyframes and play around with the graph editor like so. Okay, so now it should start quick, pop up, stall for a second, then it should slowly pan in next to the Roman soldier like this, and then it should begin to slow down as the pyramids get revealed and stop next to the Roman soldier like so. So again, in order to continue this composition and make the colors seem nice, what I've done there is I keyframed the start of the spotlight color, and as you can see the sky is changing color because the sun is setting, so it's becoming more orange unless it is kind of beigey brown. So what we're going to do is create the spotlight and make the spotlight appear more orange by keyframing it, and that's only doing it by just a little bit so that when the sun sets, the rest of the composition also follows. This is the most important part, guys, is the composition of everything. If you're not using spotlights, if you're not making sure that nothing is cropped out, if you're not paying attention to the little details, then it's all going to add up and your whole sequence is going to be affected by it pretty much. So now as you can see, the rest of the sequence has that little red tint to it, and we're just going to ease them. So as you can see now, starts off yellow, it zooms in as the sun sets, the rest of the composition changes to red. And that is a very important detail that you do not want to miss. And since clouds don't have the intention of standing out, we're going to just gradient ramp them ever so slightly so that they're just more subtle. We basically want to make it seem like they're part of the video in the background, because right now they're taking up way too much attention. Okay, now I selected the background video, and again, I keyframed all of the different lumetric color settings so that we can play around with them and change them during the end. By the way, if you made it this far, you might as well scroll down a little bit and subscribe so that you don't miss more high quality editing content. We have some really good videos coming up and I do not want you to miss them. Okay, now what I've done is I created a black solid which I'm going to position way in the back. like so. And we're just trying to use it to soften the cutoff between the sky and the desert in the background. I mean, ultimately right now, all we're doing is the little tiny touches, little tiny details like this, that will just make the video that much better. Now let's just change the tint of it so that it's yellow instead of black, so that it fits in even better. And as you can see now in the background, we have what appears to be just a slight transition between the sky and the desert. It's very subtle, very unnoticeable, but again, are the details that are adding up, right? And I want to encourage you to just have fun with your project and experiment a little bit, play around with it, and add some touches that only you are going to notice. Because in doing so, that's essentially what you're going to find, is you're going to start improving in completely different aspects of editing that you'd never explored before, such as lighting, composition, 3D cameras, any aspect that you haven't explored fully, that you've sort of been neglecting. By playing around with that aspect and by getting better at that aspect, you are going to overall improve as a video editor. So again, after finishing this video, I would encourage you to actually go ahead and try some of this out, experiment for yourself. And that's it for mastering 3D AI reels in After Effects. Before you go, since you made it to the end, I just want to let you know that we're dropping an exclusive module in the MM Bootcamp about how I landed vidIQ. It's probably going to drop sometime next week, and it's going to include absolutely every aspect of how I actually landed vidIQ as my full-time editing client. So if you're looking to land the top 1% clients, not only do we have a behind the scenes of landing a $2,000 client and an entire module teaching you how to land the top 1% clients, we're also dropping an exclusive module of me actually landing one of these clients in real time. So with that being said, I hope to see you in the MM Bootcamp. If not, all I ask is subscribe if you enjoyed and drop a comment with any feedback you have. Thanks for watching. See ya.